Here we go again, baby. Back at it with Teaching Tuesday. This time we're gonna be breaking down how do I see the ball better and how do I see the ball out of the pitcher's hand better so I can work against pitch tunneling. So seeing the ball, it's one of the most overstated things. If you go to any little league stadium, they're watch the ball, do this, right? But that's about where it ends, right? There's not a whole lot of things out there to help you see the ball better or track the ball better or anything like that. So I think we've got to understand when we need to start. You've got to know where the pitcher's release point is, right? So I want to move the camera just a little bit, right? So the release point, you've got to find where that is, right? Whether it's here, whether it's up here, whether it's this way, whether it's a sidearm guy, right? Like whatever it is, you've got to find where that release point is. And the only way that you're going to do that is being able to watch the person in the pen, you know, watch them on their warm-up pitches, like whatever. That is something that's another point right there. As you're trying to see the baseball better, you've got to have a plan on deck. And like, yes, you need to do your warm-up things, and yes, you need to do your XYZ things to get yourself to where you're feeling happy and confident and all that stuff, right? But then for a couple pitches, you got to be zoned in like you're in the box, right? Like when it's after you've gotten warmed up and you feel confident, like it's time. I'm in the box. I got to see the release point, right? There was a clip of Adrian Beltre a couple years ago, like he moved the warm-up circle, the on-deck circle, like almost behind the plate so he could see the release point of the slider, the release point of this, and it was funny, right? He ended up getting thrown out, and it was this big funny thing that went viral, right? But like you've got to see that, and you've got to understand, you know, like where do I need to look? What does the slider look like when it's coming out? Because think about it, right? Like I've got to get used to, right? Like seeing the baseball, right? So because when I'm right here, it all kind of looks the same. But as the ball comes forward, right, I can see different hands. So that's kind of more maybe like a cutter or a curveball, right? There's maybe kind of a two seam. There's kind of maybe a four seam or something like that, right? Or a curveball or something like that. So all of those things, right, like you've got to see that. And I think you've got to find, every single person has a place where they like to look, right? I want to show a clip of Bellinger, Cody Bellinger, and he's going to kind of talk where he looks, right? But I think a good thing to think about is a window. Right, so once you find that release point, it's looking in that area where the ball's coming out of, right? Where the ball's coming out of, looking at that area and not on the arms or the legs or anything like that, right? Because now you've got pitchers doing different things with their leg kicks, and then they'll drop down and they'll do this, right? But if you know where the release point is and you know where it comes out of and you're watching that window and that release point changes, you automatically know in your brain something else is coming. Something else is coming. I know it. I'm going to be on time with the fastball, and I'm going to let my eyes see this. I'm going to keep my hands pinned, and then I'm going to explode, right? So, like, that's a big thing is you've got to look for a window, right? Look for the area around it, like a window, like a physical window, and look right there. So it's kind of the principle of aim small, miss small, okay? So, like, if you can zone in on an area, right, where it's being released, and you're not just looking at the pitcher or looking at his glove or looking at this, right, like that will really, really help. Okay, so I'm going to play the Bellinger clip real quick. He kind of shares with you like where he looks when he's hitting.
Yeah, it is crazy. Everybody, out of the bullpen is throwing 97, and I think that's why it's so, crazy to watch hitters nowadays produce these numbers that they're producing, because it's so impressive against, the stuff that we're facing now. But for me, I kind of keep my eyes on the pitcher. I like looking at the shoulders, just because every pitcher has a shoulder. I don't want to look at something else in case it's not there in that stadium. So I like to go in there, lock in on the pitcher's shoulders, and then I can just focus down on seeing where the ball's going.
Yeah. So see, like that's where he looks, and then in like a different part of the interview, he was talking about his shoulders, and then I look at the shoulder, and then let it extend out so I can find that window, right? And I just look there. So then he doesn't get thrown off with the timing. He doesn't get thrown off with a quick pitch. Doesn't get thrown off with anything. He just looks for that, right? And so, like, I think that's really important as we're trying to see the ball better and be on time better. As we've got to stop. We've got to aim small, miss small. Look specifically through a window, like zero in on something that's really, really, really small, right? Trying to see the seams on the baseball or the lettering on the baseball instead of just the baseball, right? So think about that. See the lettering on the baseball, right? But then I'm looking at a window that's not just the pitcher, and then like all these different things, right? So then like your eyes and your timing will tell you, you know, I see spin, or hey, it's a fastball and the ball's not here yet. But if you can zero in on seeing that ball, that ball, and do those little things like we're talking about, you'll have a way better chance, and you'll end up hitting balls that you didn't even, you'll surprise yourself. You'll really, really surprise yourself with that. Okay, so like those are really good tangible ways to kind of like process the information, but then put it into practice as well, right? So like just make sure that you're like find those places, right? Practice it like in practice, right? Practice it with flips, practice it on the tee. Like just get your brain and your body used to those little things, right? Then aim small, miss small, and stay in the window, and then go from there, right? So speaking of, go down there in the bottom of the window and hit subscribe and hit the bell so you can keep seeing these videos, and I can keep seeing you, and see you on the next one.